Remember when your parents handed you $5 and you thought you'd be set for life at Blockbuster? Well, buckle up because today we're diving into the crazy topic of video game prices. How they went from, oh my god, $60 to, oh my god, $20 to, oh my god, $70? And why your wallet might literally start crying in the near future. We all know that video games are an expensive hobby. First, you buy a console or a gaming PC, and when you think you're done enough spending money, you might need to pay for video games, which some drops at $60. Then there are the add-ons, DLC packs, season passes, cosmetic skins, basically things that give something a little extra, but quietly nudge your total up to another $20, $30, and even $50. And it's suddenly like you're paying for another full-price game just for additional content. Well, at least that's how it is in modern gaming. Between the hardware, software, the peripherals, and the ever-evolving online fees, it all adds up real fast, but none of it happened overnight. To really understand why we're paying more now, let's start with the 90s. Back in the 90s, games were expensive in ways you barely imagine today. Every video game cartridge back then from Atari or Super Nintendo was like a mini computer. Each one had an actual silicon chip inside, maybe some memory and sometimes extra processors. They were individual pieces of hardware, and making them was complex and super costly. If a game needed more memory or better graphics, it meant pricier chips. That's why a simple puzzle game might cost you $40, but Street Fighter 2 could hit you for $70. The price tag wasn't just the game, it was the actual physical tech you were buying. And each one was packaged in huge cardboard boxes, often with thick, full-color manuals, sometimes 50 pages long, filled with art and lore you couldn't get anywhere else at the time. Shipping these heavy, delicate cartridges wasn't cheap either, from factory to distributor to your local video game shop. Every step added cost. It was an elaborate, expensive journey to get that game into your hands. Then the early 2000s hit and bam! Optical media. CDs and DVDs changed everything. The PlayStation 2, Xbox, and GameCube, these consoles made this the new normal. Suddenly, instead of using a cartridge which cost around $15 to $20 to produce, DVDs only cost pennies to make. This was huge. Publishers could finally price the games more competitively than before. Packaging got simpler too. Standard DVD cases, thinner manuals. This also meant shipping and storage became way cheaper. And get this, budget reissues. Sony's greatest hits, Microsoft's platinum hits, Nintendo's player choice, top games repackaged and sold for around $20. This was tough with expensive cartridges but easy with cheap discs. Plus consoles started getting online features, hinting at a digital future. Fast forward to mid-2000s and enter Steam. Valve launched it in 2003 and digital storefronts were born. For the first time, you could buy and download tons of great games without even leaving your house, meaning no disc, no packaging, no shipping, and no retail markup. The savings for the publishers were massive. No more manufacturing physical stuff. This led to wild pricing. Those legendary Steam sales where a $50 game could be $5 just months later. Publishers learned they could sell more copies at lower prices. Xbox Live Arcade, the PlayStation Store, and Nintendo's WiiWare and eShop followed, offering similar, cheaper games. Everything was so convenient, and some of your games started being stored in your hard drives, not on disc and cartridges. The $20 game wasn't just a sale item anymore, it was becoming a new standard for many titles. Then came the 2010s, and things got intense. Game development budgets skyrocketed. Making a big game in the early 2000s might cost around $10 million. By the 2010s, making Grand Theft Auto 5 costed around $137 million before marketing. Why? Gaming went mainstream. Suddenly, over half of the adult population was playing, meaning big audience, big money, and even bigger expectations for graphics and scale. But here's the catch. That standard $60 price tag wasn't always enough to cover these massive costs, so the industry needed new ways to make money after you bought the game. Enter live service games. Games like Fortnite, Destiny, and Apex Legends. These aren't just one-and-done purchases, they're ongoing services, constantly updated, and with them, microtransactions. Why sell a game for once for $60 when you can offer cosmetic items or character boosts for $5, $10, or $20 a pop, potentially making way more per player over time? Season passes popped up too. pay a bit for a few months for new content or cosmetic items, and that $60 game could now easily become a $100 annual investment for dedicated players. The math was compelling for publishers, but it fundamentally changed what it meant to buy a video game. Now, we're in the modern era, and what started as optional extras has become completely standard. DLCs and microtransactions aren't experimental anymore. They're baked into the business model from day one. When a major game launches today, it's almost guaranteed to have multiple DLC packs, season passes, or maybe some kind of ongoing monetization. But on top of all that, base game prices have started climbing up again. Sony led the charge with PlayStation 5 games launching at $70 instead of the $60 standard we've had for over a decade. Then, Microsoft followed, and now Nintendo is testing the waters with their next Mario Kart costing around $80. The justification is always the same, that video games are more expensive to make than ever. And while that's true, it's also true that games are selling to a larger audience than ever before. A successful game today can reach 50 million players compared to maybe 5 or 10 million players in previous generations. Then there's GTA 6. Industry analysts are speculating it could launch at around $100 for a standard edition. Rockstar hasn't confirmed it yet, but given GTA 5 has generated over $7 billion largely through its online component, they might feel confident enough to test the triple-digit game prices. Looking ahead, the trends are clear. Games as a service isn't going anywhere. If anything, it's expanding. Subscription services like Game Pass are growing too, which could eventually make individual game purchases feel outdated. We might be heading toward a future where you don't really own video games anymore, but rather pay for access to constantly updating entertainment services. But the big question is, will the market push back or adapt to whatever pricing the industry decides to test next? And what's the most money you spend on a single video game? Tell me in the comments below. Anyways, yeah, that's it for today's video, and wow, you actually made it till the end. That's cool. Anyways, if you like this video, then just hit that like button and subscribe to the channel because why not? It's free and it helps out a ton. Anyways, that's it. Bye!